there's always been this really, okay, women are super, there's like a line and you're either on the good side of it or you're on the bad side of it. There's no walking the line when it comes to women and sex. There's just not.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Ride or Die podcast. I'm Brandon.
I'm Sam.
And this is, like we said, Ride or Die. This week we have a fun topic. We're also live. Let's see if any questions and comments come in. We're talking about sex again, my favorite topic, and apparently your guys' favorite topic as well. We like to cover sex, parenting, communication, and money, and just rotate those each and every week for you. Give you a nice wide variety of life, because that's pretty much sums it up. Right?
Let's hit them up with a quick Middleton Madness, though, because we, Brandon likes to call it the measles scare, just for a little drama.
The doctor said she might have measles and called the health department and literally freaked out.
So this is probably why I should just take Peyton to the doctor in the first place. I was trying to get Brandon to take Peyton so that I could get some stuff done, get some work done, because she gets sometimes the kids get viruses, they pass it through. It's no big deal. But when they send your kid home from school twice in 1 week on the first week of school, right? It's madness. It's madness. We were getting nothing done. So I said, just take her, because maybe they'll give us a doctor's note and say it's not a big deal. No, instead the doctor scares Brandon and says...
The urgent care doctor, not her pediatrician.
Because the urgent care is so much faster. We're in and out within an hour, and your kids can be back at school. It's amazing. So,
time is money, people.
They tell Brandon she's got the measles possibly, and he's freaking out. And I'm like, no, she's been vaccinated. She doesn't have the measles. Needless to say, we took her to the doctor. It was nothing. She just sometimes
before they wanted to run a myriad of tests on this poor child.
So, she just breaks out in this full body frontal rash for a day, and then the next day it's literally gone. It's the weirdest thing. It happens to her. I think it used to happen to me when I was little. But anyway, she's good, and she does not have the measles. And thank you for everybody that did check in, because we were on our IG stories posting stuff.
So we lost a little bit of work last week. It was basically 2 days of...
crazy town.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how these beautiful babies got here, which is sex.
All right. Jump right into it. And I titled this one Mental Movies, because that's one of the tips that I want to share this week.
Yeah.
So how do you, we've been together 17 years, right? And we have our ups and downs, and before children, it's one way, and a lot of bathing suits and a lot of days at the pool, and after the children, a little bit different. So one of the things that has helped us, me probably in particular, is this idea of these mental movies. Now, let me back up just a little bit. When we were first dating, we never had, I don't know when it was, I feel like it was the first date. Maybe not the first date. But getting butt naked was never, no.
On our first date when I was getting naked.
No, but getting naked was never an issue. Phone's ringing. It was never an uncomfortable thing. And I don't know, I think it's probably more for women than guys, but being naked around each other.
I was always shy.
You were?
Yes.
So maybe it's because I wasn't shy that you just quickly warmed up?
Or maybe you were just so excited you didn't notice. But I've always been a little, as outgoing as I am, I'm always a little bit more reserved on the sex side.
Let's back up. Why?
Before I get freaky, and then I just get freaky. But beforehand, that build up, or there's a lot of anticipation before somebody well, at least for me, before I would get intimate with a guy. So it was a little nerve-wracking with you, and there was a build-up there. There was a build-up with us. We didn't meet and just hook up right away. There was this build-up. It was a couple of months of seeing you around town, and a couple of weeks or month or whatever of us steady talking. Mm-hmm. And we're just really not only dating us, but we were unchristian back then, so.
If that's a term. So here's why I wanted to talk about it this week, because I'm around the house. We just had the weekend. Sam likes to walk around the house.
God, this is
in
why I
her
did not want to
booty
be
shorts.
Facebook Live today.
And I'm like, men are visual. It is primal. We are just visual, right? That's why there are women's strip clubs and not men's strip clubs around like every corner, especially here in Tampa, right? Men are just super visual. And I'm thinking, people have asked like, you're getting married when we're, getting married, and they're like, why, is this going to be the one girl you're going to be with for the rest of your life? And obviously there's some more immature friends, but it's like,
I used to ask you that. Are you going to be able to only have sex with me for the rest of your life? That was like a legit question that I asked you.
And because men are visual, I feel like it's important to share something that we have not shared before, which is this like fact that Sam gives me mental movies and little, I'm taking pictures, all the time, because she's not uncomfortable being naked.
Well, you make it so that I'm not uncomfortable around
So
you.
let's talk about that.
Okay.
Because for the men out there whose women may always have the bathrobe on or be in the moo-moo or, like never want to, because let's be honest, guys, if that engine starts up, you might be like, I can't stop it, right? So let's talk about how did I make you feel comfortable, and also not like every time you're naked, I'm just like, let's have sex, even though that's exactly what's saying in my mind.
That. You are pretty much like that every time I'm naked. But I think there was just a comfortability a long time ago. We've been together for 17 years, and really at this point, it's like, what do I have to lose? I am the one. If I'm not giving it to you, somebody else could be. So there has to be this like point where a woman just kind of lets go and goes with it, But over the years, it's not like you've been in perfect shape our whole relationship or something. So there's these like little reminders of like, I'm not as secure as I usually am because I'm out of shape for myself right now. But I still know how important it is for you to see me naked. You have some kind of love blinders on or sex blinders because you don't see the flaws in me even when I'm out of shape. So just like, even if he did, I like that he would just pretend that he didn't, but he like legitimately doesn't. So it just makes me feel more comfortable, and I know that he likes it. So there's this like, I guess like this dirty part of me, right? That's like, I know when Brandon likes when I do this, so I'm just gonna do it. And let's be real, like, who doesn't like to just be like naked or close to naked and walk around your house?
I don't like to walk around the house naked.
That is right. And
I don't want like my butt on the couch, and like I
don't walk around butt naked. And mind you, we have 2 kids now, so I have to be a little
which
bit
I want to
covered
actually
up.
ask the audience who has older kids about how this little transition is happening right now.
This transition is happening because I have to be clothed more
But
than
let's stick to why. How do I make you feel comfortable? How can the guys out there, or maybe it's the flip side, how did I make you feel comfortable being more like we take showers together all the time, a little less now with the kids. You never are like, hey, I'm going to get ready, stay out of the bathroom, like. You've never been like, oh, you can't see me naked.
I just always like to spend time with you. So it's always just been, I don't know, it's just a natural thing. I don't know. I grew up.
I don't feel like you're giving them something that they can take action on right now.
Okay. I think it just kind of depends on your upbringing. You know what I mean? And if you have bad images of what sex is or stuff, that it's probably coming from your past. And those are things that you just have to work through because sex is totally normal. So I had 2 sides of growing up. Like, I had my mom who told me, like, sex is this, like, totally bad thing. Guys just want to talk to you so they could have sex with you. So I always had this block in my head younger that I had to...
Partially true.
Which is partially true. And it worked for me in my teenage years. I wasn't this, like, big slutty girl in high school or anything. I was really a prude in high school. But it helped me, as I got comfortable with you, open up and realize that it's okay to do that with you. But then on the other flip side, my mom and I were very we weren't super close, like emotionally, but we were she was comfortable enough and had a ton of flaws.
Oh, so your
in
mom
her body.
was
and she
naked around you all the
She was
time.
always naked around me, so it wasn't.
That's a mental
like,
movie I don't need to see.
No, correct. It's a mental movie I don't need to see either, but it was just a natural thing in our house. So I just grew up with that being natural, and so it's a little bit more natural to me, I guess. I mean,
Okay.
that's the only thing I can think of that would be like why I am the way I am.
And now, if I was chasing you around or like pressuring you for sex or something
Which is
every
weird.
time
We're
you
talking
got
about
naked.
my mom on a sex podcast. Gross.
Okay, rewind.
Okay.
Deleted. So what if I was like chasing you around all the time? Talk about that, because there definitely was a time where like if you were naked in a bathing suit, forget about it. I was not thinking about anything else. My entire agenda was to try to work our way to the bedroom. So
Oh my gosh. Okay.
how can guys?
I took some notes because I don't want this to be only about me and talking about. There's like things that guys can do
Sam's
to get the
getting
women
uncomfortable.
more attracted to their man too.
Okay.
And so I want to go back and forth a little bit. One of the things that works for me but doesn't work for me, and I don't want you looking at my notes. They're my notes. This is mine.
Okay.
And this is your space, and you stay over here. So there's always been this women are super, there's like a line, and you're either on the good side of it or you're on the bad side of it. There's no walking the line when it comes to women and sex. There's just not. And some women are super sexual, but a lot of women are not super, super sexual. We need a little bit more like priming the pump and all that stuff, right? So one of the things,
Crackpot.
even when I'm less dressed around you or whatever, like for me, there's like a build-up. For me, it's like a game. Almost
Right.
like I like the tease. I like the build-up.
Oh, so it's I got you.
And I like when you're not coming at me like a gorilla every time I'm naked. So like you can definitely tell when I'm not feeling it, because like if he literally is like chasing me around the house and I'm like, stop, like I'm not into it. Like I kind of just want the build up. I like the build up. It's like we were talking about at church, not about sex, but they say Jesus sets you up to build you up, and I feel like that could translate over to sex.
So,
like we are set up to get build up.
So I'm like the paparazzi taking all kinds of mental photos.
I know you do, and I appreciate that.
So,
Thank you.
So
I'd rather they be my mental photos than somebody else.
So you're walking around the house or getting out of the shower and that's like adding to the tease is what you're saying.
Yeah, and what do I care if you're in the bathroom when I'm in the shower? I don't care. In fact, you get excited about it in like a cute way. You'll just be like, oh, when you walk by or something. So it's just kind of fun. Like, it's just fun. For all the seriousness in our life, to break it up and have a little fun. And I will say, like, before kids, it was so much easier to just be like, let's go work at the pool for the afternoon. And we would literally be in our bathing suits. Some days we would be like, let's just go take a break. And we would grab some wine and go to the pool. Like, I mean, it was a little different when we were a single couple than with kids. We have to be a little bit more creative. So let's talk about that for a second, because it doesn't most of our people watching have kids or, have been in their relationships for a long time. And I think longevity in a relationship can kind of turn down the sex meter a little bit, and kids can certainly turn down that meter. So let's talk about that more than in the past, because I don't feel like, I think you have these mental movies of like this like hot like past of ours, but it was pretty consistent. I don't feel like, I don't know, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like we were like triple timing it in the past or anything, you know what I mean, compared to now. Maybe we had a little bit more sex before kids than now,
yeah.
But like women have to be really diligent about knowing, and men too, knowing what the other person's needs are and fulfilling them. And again, we just talked about this a few weeks ago on our last sex podcast, so you can look that up. But it's important to know that Brandon likes it a certain amount of times, or how he likes it or whatever. But at the same time, he has to know how I like it too. So I don't like really like those really gorilla alpha males. Like, I don't like it. I don't like when guys are super...
You don't want 50 Shades of Grey, Brandon.
Well, I'm not saying in the bedroom necessarily. I'm just saying like a demeanor, period. Like, we could be in the kitchen and I could be cooking dinner. And if you're like too much of a gorilla, I don't like it. But if you like catch me at the right moment when it's like time to kind of get into it and you take charge and you're more of like the leader in the situation, that can be extremely sexy, right? Like, I don't need to necessarily lead it in the bedroom. But when I'm cooking dinner for the kids or something and the family, like, the last thing I want is for you to come up with like Max hanging on one leg and you be like, oh, I want some, baby. Because I'm going to be like, can you please, this is like the most awkward thing in the world right now. So there's that. But
you know what else? What helps?
Like, knowing each other's love languages, and it's so funny because we just retook the quiz over the weekend, and I literally tied, like, off the charts scores for quality time, words of affirmation, and acts of service. And it goes a long way. Like, if you come to me at the end of the day and give me your leftovers, I have no interest in sex at all. None. I'm not interested. You come without smiling at me or talking to me. It's all business all day, and then you're just kind of like, meh, I'm tired. I'll be like, cool. Go to bed. You know, like, it's that simple for me. So guys and girls both, but especially men who are like super entrepreneurs or super into their careers and they work a lot of hours, you can't turn off your drive to go get what you want, which your end goal is sex. So if you want sex, you kind of have to think, okay, here's my goal. I want to have, like Brandon would say, I want to have sex with Sam tonight. And if he wants to have sex with Sam tonight, there's like certain paths that you need to take in order to reach that goal, right? Because just like entrepreneurialism, we have all these obstacles along the way that try to knock us off track. And any of those things, like, you know, giving me your leftovers just won't work out. It won't work out for you.
You know what else it does for me? It kind of gives me extra energy for like trying. You know what I mean? It'd be like, oh, it's a stressful day, or it's there's stuff going on, or I got other stuff in my mind, and then like Sam will be cooking breakfast and her little short shorts, and I'll be like, oh, reminder, I should give her a quick little hug. I should give her a kiss on the neck. Oh, I need to go write a note for, and that may sound, I don't know, surface level or selfish or whatever, but it works for me. You know, instead of looking at it like it's a negative thing, like, oh, maybe we haven't had sex in a few days, and then on top of it, she's just teasing me or flaunt. I don't think of it that way. I'm more like, thank you for that, you know? Instead of being tempted by anything else, instead of, you know, pornography is a big thing for guys, not really me.
Well, and some chicks.
And some chicks too. We've certainly had our days. But guys are visual. So like, if I'm going to be thinking about anything naked or anything sexual, the freshest thing in my mind is her. Right? And that does not get old.
Words of affirmation. See, he's just building it up for tonight. I see it already.
That does not get old, and it gives me motivation to do the crock pot thing where I gotta, oh, you know what? The kids are acting up a little bit, and she needs some alone time getting dinner ready. Let me move the distractions.
So if you are looking at mine, right? Mm-hmm. But quality time, words of affirmation, and acts of service. And so I just want to throw out there that does not mean that I want him to go do the dishes for me in order to have sex. So you have to take somebody's love languages and then put it into that topic, right? So if it's work, if we're talking about business together, because we work together all the time. So I like when he builds me up in business. He tells me that I'm important, or he builds up my value in our company, or he talks to me about other people, about what a rock star I am in our company. Like, those things are important to me, and they make me feel really good in our business. So the same goes over to sex. If he's talking to me about, you know, certain things I do that get him excited, or he tells me how beautiful I look all day long, you know, he doesn't have to give me words of affirmation like, you mean so much to me, I love you. Like, that's not going to put me in the mood.
Damn, you're hot.
Right, but if he's just a simple statement about my looks or my appearance, or, you know, when you do this thing, it makes me feel a certain way, like, that's the buildup. That gets sexy, right? Look at
love
you.
it.
He's like taking mental notes. I see him right now. Okay, so I wanted to do another thing that works for me, and then if you want to do something that works for you, that would
It works
be
for
great.
me to walk around naked all the time, right?
It does not. It does not. I'm not like, I'm a visual person, but it's not like, I mean, you have a great body.
Not when it comes to
Okay,
sex. You're not
so
really a
here's the
visual
thing.
person.
During the tease and the build up, I do like it. I would certainly not want you to walk around naked with like the kids and stuff. That doesn't really, but you kind of have this like shy, see, now you said it and I'm going to put you on the spot. You have this like, you're very confident, which is very sexy. Like you have no challenge being naked around me at all. Like even more so than me. It's like you just don't care. Me, I'm like a little uncomfortable, but I do it anyway sometimes, and then other times I'm not uncomfortable. Obviously, when I'm in shape, I'm never uncomfortable to be naked, right? I'll just be naked all the time. All right, I'm going in the gym after this podcast.
All right.
But there is something sexy about it, but that's just not the thing that triggers me.
I know.
I don't consider that an act
I don't
of service
think. I don't
for you
think
to
most.
walk around with your shirt off.
I don't think most. See, and that's funny. I think of you giving me that visual many times a day is very much an act of service for me.
Well, your love language is physical touch and words of
Well,
affirmation.
and of course,
now,
if your butt's hanging out, I'm gonna grab it.
I know. Okay, so smells. Not
How do you
that.
go from sex to smells?
No, like that's my next thing of something that works. Like certain smells trigger me in the wrong direction. But smells is one of those things that I think is really appealing to a woman. Like when you think about the time that you first connect with somebody, what is like one of the things that you notice? You'll notice their appearance or the way they say hi, maybe the way they approach you. But then like the way they smell is like an attractive thing to me.
Your
I mean,
nose.
it's really primal.
I think your nose has like a better memory than your brain. Like you can smell something from 20 years ago and it'll take you back.
Well, we tried that recently. I bought Brandon one of the very first colognes that he used to wear.
This was hilarious.
And I bought it for him as a gift, and I was really excited because I thought they had discontinued the cologne. Maybe they did, and that's why I don't like it anymore. So I bought him this cologne, and he's been wearing it for like
Versace
a couple of months.
Dreamer.
Yeah, Versace. And so he's wearing this, and then finally I'm like, look, I know I bought this for you as a gift. And I feel really bad telling you this because I know you've been putting it on purpose for me, but I actually don't.
Meanwhile, I'm choking her out.
I don't like it anymore. Can you stop wearing it?
I'm like, could you told me this like the first week I was wearing it, not when half the bottle's
I just
gone?
felt so terrible because he literally was putting it on all the time, and I felt bad. I didn't want to tell him, and I went through the effort to get it, and anyway, smells is a good trigger when you have a good smell on. And so think about that on the opposite direction. It can kind of be a turnoff when it's not a good one.
Like your
Think about that.
stripper
People that
perfume.
live in Florida, you got to think about that. It's like a 2-shower type of day kind of season right now. And
For sure.
And I don't know how many ladies like to, get in bed all nasty or have their guys get in bed nasty and then be like, let's get nasty. I like when you're clean. It's really sexy when you're clean. Anyway, give me one.
One what?
Give me something. These are like tips to keep things hot. You only talked about mental movies.
Because that's like 80% of the game for me. I told you, I keep saying it. I'm simple. Men are way more simple. What else?
Let me look. I only took a few notes, which was the build up and the way that the other person likes it and smells, because I only wanted to give a few tips.
So if I'm getting tempted in this teasing of you being naked, how do I decipher when it's okay to be a little aggressive or pushy and when not to?
That's a great question.
Because that
the
is a
answer
moving target.
The answer is I don't know. The answer is it depends.
Yeah.
Just like in sales, I don't know. It depends. It depends.
Moving target.
Yeah,
that's
it
what
is a
women
moving
are
target.
for absolutely a moving target.
So I will say this. If I am not touching you or approaching you, or I say I'm really tired, it's probably not good opportunities to try to shove your way in. And I don't, literally, I guess. That's what he said.
Where
I
is
didn't
this
mean
show
it like
going?
that. I just meant like, whatever. That's not how I meant it, but that's the way it came out. So, but I don't know what the fine line is because
I know you don't,
so
because if you knew, I would nail that target every time.
Super honest in communication. I mean, for the last, there's been a little buildup for a couple days in our house. And so I was telling him, I've been, doing these subtle things, but, I want you to take the lead. And he's like, well, how am I supposed to know the difference between that? And I'm like, I'm literally,
because this week, I'm like, I have not noticed. I have not noticed at all.
So, which is another lesson in itself. If you think you're doing it and it's not getting your mate, why don't you just talk about it? Because I have no challenge going up to Brandon and being like, hey, I've been dropping these hints that you could totally take me any way you want it, and you have not thought that the door was open there. And he keeps saying, well, just take it if you want it. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. I want you to come. I want you to come and take it from me. So this is way too
Note
personal.
taken.
Right. So, I thought of a bonus. Day sex, especially with kids. The kids are off at school. That's how I meant it. The kids are off at school, and why wouldn't you, take advantage of that time? And Brandon mentioned, well, not everybody is together all day, and how do you do that? And I said, people have lunch breaks. People can take an afternoon off sporadically. I mean, that stuff is hot. So just, put it on. And don't be afraid to have sex in the light, whatever. I mean, you guys are married more than likely, or you're in a relationship. You shouldn't be so shy to show your bodies. And I do get a little bit more shy in the light. It's just natural, I think, for people to be a little bit more shy. But
not to me, El Capitan.
No, and you love it. So at the end of the day, I think your excitement for everything just truly trumps everything else. And I'm just like, yeah, okay.
Where is that line between excitement and overly excited? Which I would assume is a turnoff for women.
I don't think you want me to give an example with you, do you?
I would prefer not, but if you need it in order to make a point and help some other people out, go for it.
I think it just is going to depend on every person. So
right.
For me, if you're just way too aggressive, it's a really big turnoff for me. Mm-hmm. Again, I just don't really.
So I can be excited,
because I'm
but
a
not
pretty
too
aggressive
pushy.
Person, but when it comes to that, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it's a little give and take. And if you come and you do something to your spouse and they're really not receptive to it, try a couple more times. But there's a line between hey, and then there's a line between hey, and that could be obnoxious. And
don't be desperate. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah.
If you're
yes,
desperate.
I actually wrote that in my notes.
Yep.
Even
Even though in your mind you may feel desperate.
And you're only being selfish for yourself. You're not really thinking about the other person's needs.
Keyword selfish.
Yeah. And it makes it more like a chore. I wrote that note down.
Yeah.
Which is true. If you're coming at me too strong, I'm like, okay, this is business sex.
Right.
This isn't sex, but I'll have sex with you. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But we're just going to get down to business. So go take care of what you need to take care of.
Quickie.
And you can take that mental note or whatever. And then you have your new movie for the week.
Jeez Louise. Let's check in with our friends, see if we have
a lot
anything.
of people watching, but not a lot of people asking questions. So
don't be shy, guys.
People are coming on, and
Let's see what
Mark is trying to claim that anything we say on our podcast is always his idea. Thank you. I appreciate you a lot, Mark. We read the 5 love languages a long time ago, but we did have a conversation with you about it, so I'm just teasing you. Yes, it is a
The quiz
book.
is free, too, by the way.
Yeah, he said the 5 love languages is a wonderful book. You have to keep them on their toes, be spontaneous, and very adventurous. That's totally true. Spontaneity is...
adventurous, so
and that's what I was saying about the
mountain
day sex.
climbing
just
and
throw it on the calendar without your spouse knowing or whatever, or plan it together. We did that the other week.
Could you send me a calendar invite for sex? Because that would be
Would
the
you
most...
like me to do that?
That'd be the most gratifying email in the middle of the day to open up my inbox and just see Sam has invited you to sex. I'd be like...
Okay.
No,
sure.
Don't really do that because our employees go in my email and I don't want them to see that.
Well, maybe that can help them in there.
They'll be like, oh, don't ask Brandon about a follow-up task at 3 p.m. on Friday.
That's a pretty horrible mental picture for our other people to have, right?
Yeah.
They are having sex right now. Should I text them?
Hey, what about texting, sexting? What's your thoughts on that?
So I'm a little private about that stuff because I just think I don't know. send naked pictures to you. I'm
gonna say, don't do it.
Text you. I mean, I'll have a
If
phone
that could ever get out, I would be freaked out.
Yeah, I know. Like, we've dropped little things here and there in a text message, and it's for some people, but I see you enough that I'd rather just say it in person.
You know what I like to have fun with? The GIF app on the iPhone, where you can type in
that's fun. You get if you just type in big jiggle butt or something, it'll do and he's such a butt man, so sometimes I'll just shoot over a GIF when we're just messing around.
I'll be like, I'm going to bed. I'll be like,
and it'll be like a butt.
I'll see you there. Yeah.
And Brandon will be like, oh, he's in the middle of work. I like to do it when he's working and he's busy. Yeah. And just mess with him. But I don't actually I don't know. It's just not my thing. It works for some people, but it's not particularly my thing. I don't know.
I would advise against it if you don't want your children to one day see it on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, that's and I'll just go like this too. You burned it into my brain a long time ago, at the beginning of our relationship, no sex movies, we're not going to make our own movies or anything like that, and we just never have. So it's just kind of like a private thing. I'll talk about sex, and I'm fine with that, but I'm not inviting you into the bedroom. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a little
Everything's
different.
digital now, so it's too easy to share, upload, and then it's gone into the
And there's a lot of free porn
internet.
on the internet, so it's just a little too, I don't know, it's a little too easy.
Yeah.
But anyway, you always had this, and this is one thing that was really, really sexy to me at the beginning, actually. You always had this very protective nature over my body. So as far as movies or our conversations being on text or email back, or it would have been AOL Instant Messenger back in the day when we started dating, but all these things, MySpace, right? But having those conversations in print is almost invasive to Brandon, and he likes that privacy. I'm his prize, which is a very attractive thing to me, to feel like I'm his prize, and he doesn't want to share that with other people. So
especially when you were a teenager and you were a little more willing to be I don't know, in a thong bathing suit around. I'm like, no, that is
you won't
that
catch
is
me in a
for
thong bathing
my
suit now.
eyes only. Nobody else gets to. I had to work hard for that. Nobody gets to enjoy that.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, those are just a few of our favorite things, and the things that kind of keep it alive. I know Brandon's biggest thing is those mental movies. So just know what maybe the one or two triggers are. I like the tease and the build up, and you like those mental movies. So talk. This all comes back to communicating and talking with your significant other.
I don't think that you ever communicated with me about, hey, just so you know, I like to walk around the house half clothed and not
no, but when I did, you were
naked
you would tell
when
me
the
how
kids
much you
weren't
liked
around.
it. If it wasn't verbally, it was definitely, visually you would tell me you liked
Yeah.
it. So there was, I get my signs and my confirmations when I do stuff that it's working. And
is that an example of me catching you doing something right?
you get a boner?
No, anytime you're naked, I'd always have
Where's
something
the gauge
positive.
for whether this is working or not? Just look down.
I always gave you positive affirmation.
Katina! Hi.
What's up? Okay, so I hope that was helpful, guys. Don't be afraid. Figure out what your thing is.
Me turning red is talking about this stuff a little too much, because that actually I do get.
But I know this is important because of conversations that I've had, and especially for guys, we are visual, and our needs aren't just met in the bedroom. Our needs are met with our eyes. And if a guy is going to an office and there's a hot secretary or a hot coworker, and I don't care what they'll admit to you or not, or if you're like, oh, my husband's innocent or whatever, men's minds can wander and their eyes can wander. And that's why I've always had that trick that I shared on a few podcasts ago, that I tell myself stories, really negative, funny stories about that girl. I'll just be like, she may look great in yoga pants, but she probably can't cook for shit, or she probably wouldn't be a great mom, or whatever I have to say to not have myself even go down that path of fantasizing or picturing some chick naked. I don't do that because my mind is flooded with all the mental movies that I get on a daily basis.
We just actually talked about this recently too, because
and then porn, right? Guys would go to porn. That's tough.
So here's the thing: like, there's two sides. Remind me of the porn because it made me think of strip clubs. But we're around attractive people all the time, you know, and he tells me that, and because I automatically go to Brandon when I have questions of curiosity, because I just hear like these awful stories, mostly about guys, not mainly about girls. Unfortunately, it's mostly about the guys and what freaking dogs guys can be sometimes. And I go to Brandon like, is this real? I don't know why I have such a unicorn. Like, sometimes I'll even question.
Did you just call me a unicorn? That is not the most manly thing that.
I don't know how to. Well, like,
I'm an anomaly, if you want to call me that.
So I don't understand like how guys don't want to put all that energy into their wife and get everything they could ever possibly want out of that person, and it's so close and it's right there for them if they put in a little effort, and instead they just go to the strip club or they make eyes with somebody. Like, we go to events all the time, right? We're around attractive people all the time.
Attractive, powerful, wealthy.
Successful, like, and it goes both ways. Like, there's attractive men that are really successful and they make money and whatever, like, and they have nice bodies and cute faces, and that's attractive, right? When you first look at somebody, you're like, wow, I love successful men. It's a very attractive thing to me. Was smart guys. They don't even need to be that hot. Just like smart guys are attractive to me. For Brandon, like, when we're in event mode and you see like a motivated go-getter girl, like, those are very attractive qualities to him, and we're faced with that all the time. And then I hear stories of like people being away from their wives and they're always at the strip club when they're away, or they're looking for ways to like get into trouble, and then they're hiding these secrets and hiding this life from their spouse. And I just don't understand why they would put all that energy into a complete stranger instead of putting it into.
Well, that's why I opened this show by asking you what makes you more comfortable, because you can't always just put it on the guy as being the dog, because sometimes the guy doesn't feel like he has any other choice. He's like, well, she's not doing anything. I don't know what to do, so unmet needs get met.
I know unmet needs get met, and there should
and
be
you've
this,
been
there
like,
should be this fear, because I told a girlfriend this one recently, that when you're mad or unattractive to your spouse, they're out in the world and somebody else is finding them super attractive. So sometimes you have to go look at yourself in the mirror and figure out what it is that you need to change in your attitude to, like, this is on the real. It's not just about like sex and turning the other person on. Like, sometimes there's some things within yourself that you need to go change. You know, if you're like in a dry spout or whatever, or you're just mad at your spouse, there's somebody else that thinks that they're the smartest person in the room at that moment, or the most handsome guy they ran into today. And some people just quite frankly don't care that you're married. They just don't. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's our responsibility, especially married, but even if you're dating somebody, to have respect for the other person. I have respect for you every time. Men don't really, unless I'm just not noticing it anymore, but I can tell when a guy is flirting with me versus not, and guys don't really flirt with me anymore. They can see that either I'm just getting old and I'm not as attractive as I used to be, or there's a really clear line drawn all the time that I am married and I'm super committed to my husband, so don't even freaking try it, because you're going to get nowhere. With me anyway.
Shut down.
Right? And Brandon is the same way. Like, we used to go to events and I'd be like, dude, that girl totally thought you were cute.
I'll be like, I can't make eye contact. If she's really pretty, I'll be like, I can't even make contact.
No. He would say it all the time. He'd be like, no, she was. Yes, she was. So can you do me a favor and
I don't want
close to her?
I don't want anyone getting the wrong idea, so I don't know. That's weird. It'd be like, we're huggers. We'll hug new people we meet, and if like there's a really, like, all the attention is on one girl, I'll be like, can't hug her.
Well, and I know that's your thing, and that's okay that you're like that.
I'd rather be conservative than on the safe side.
Which I think is very endearing, and I like it.
So
and that
friendly.
Makes me feel special. So see, again, it's like all these little things, like, and I guess it goes the same both ways. You know, I'm not afraid to go talk to attractive guys, but I don't ever lead
But you're
them
never
on.
like, really? What do you do?
Yeah, or you're not going to find me down at the bar having a few extra drinks with them at the end of the day. You're just like inviting trouble. So why
Right.
would you even put yourself in those situations in
Right.
the first place? But anyway,
I think we've wrapped on long enough. Anything in closing?
in those situations, like go text your spouse or your significant other instead of getting yourself into trouble. Go call them or have a conversation with them or tell them you were thinking of them.
Or give them a boudoir shot so they can have a nice photo album when they're
Yes, I think
traveling.
that's the only bad stuff I have on my phone is my boudoir shoot.
Very classy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's classy when it is classy, and some of them are not, but whatever.
All right, guys.
They're not raunchy, that's for sure.
Right.
They're far from raunchy, because that's just trashy to me, the really raunchy stuff.
Cool. So, in recap, what did we cover?
We covered ways to kind of spark things up in your brain and get excited.
Keep it
for
spicy.
sex,
Keep your
and
man from getting distracted.
Spicy
or
sounds weird. That makes me think of BO. Keep it hot, steamy.
All right.
And hopefully when we actually post on, we had people come and join and like watch what we were talking about, but we haven't had very many questions.
Yeah, we're
I think people
testing-
are being a little shy.
Yeah, we're testing.
We're testing
going.
whether we should keep coming and just doing this live or recording them.
Like live or like live.
Yeah, are we gonna record and go live, or are we like, let's do this live and like talk more? Cause we'll
Yeah,
actually
because
talk more to
we
you
don't
guys.
know everything, so we need some feedback from the group. And one of the things that we will obviously leave for offline is how do you continue to do that? Because little Miss Peyton now has been like, I just want to walk around in my underwear, and I'm like, that's not going to be cute for very long. So I guess we're going to have to start ex-nay on the naked a little more often. So how do you do that more when the kids are older?
But see, Brandon's like that, I think, because it's his daughter, and I think he just knows like she's gonna grow up and be a woman someday, and he doesn't want her doing that. I don't care that she walks around in her underwear with a shirt on. But
I know, but it's just
she's
making me
also-
start to think a little bit further ahead. Like,
And Max is the same way though. Like
my teenage daughter is
Max
not going to be
walks
sitting around
in
and
the door from school and takes off his pants. It's like the first thing he does when he gets home. He literally walks in the door, takes off his shoes, puts them in the cubby, and takes his pants off.
weirdo.
We're just like this naked family, I guess. But then on the weekends, like there's no like lazy Saturday or Sunday mornings in our pajamas. Like
Right.
Peyton wakes up and she's like, I need to go get dressed, and why are you in your pajamas? So there's like this, she likes to at the end of the day be like comfortable, but she wants to just, whatever. I want her to feel comfortable in her own skin. I don't want her to grow up and be, skanky, but I do want her to feel comfortable with her body. And I think that this is kind of an off topic. Maybe we can talk about it another time, but self-image and the way people feel about each other, it's just something that wasn't really, I didn't have a lot of positive reinforcement growing up in my household, and I want that to be different for Peyton. So I don't want her to feel ashamed that she has her underwear on in her own house. Like, I want her to be proud of her body and be okay if she wants to dance around in her underwear, that she could dance around in her underwear. I just want her to be comfortable and feel free and not feel like there's so many restrictions on her. But I think that's just like a whole nother time and subject, because you talk about all the restrictions I had on me as a kid, and as a teenager, I was a
free bird.
No, I wasn't a complete free bird like sexually, but I was crazy and got into drugs and lost a whole year of school and had to repeat freshman year because I never showed up to class. So there's a whole other, maybe in the next parenting topic, we can kind of just talk about those things, because it is crazy to think like the things that we do in front of our kids and say in front of our kids, even on the sex side, is going to put things in their mind. We don't really, like, we flirt and we'll do things. Oh, flirting is so much fun, by the way. If you don't do it anymore, do it. After 17 years, I like when Brandon flirts with me still and makes me feel like I'm exciting and new still. Like, that's kind of fun, right? A little variety.
You never get old, babe.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, like what we do in front of our kids is, we don't push the limit, because I don't want them to just like run around thinking sex is okay either, or really know what sex is because they're way
Let's
too
be
young.
honest. We only have so many years left in these bodies before they start being all saggy and wrinkly. So might as well enjoy them.
Oh my gosh. All right. On that note, thank you guys for those that joined us live today. That was really exciting. And make sure to give us your feedback. Share this podcast with somebody that you know will get some value from it, or just share it on your timeline and have some people just start coming and watching us more. We really appreciate the build up that we're getting on our Ride or Die podcast, and love all you guys that continue to come and
That's right. We do this for you guys.
communicate with us on a week-to-week basis.
All right. That's it for the show. Also follow us on Instagram at Brennan and Sam.
This is like the lamest outro ever.
I know.
All right, that's the end of
I
the
just
show.
knew that if we just said the topic was sex, that I was going to have plenty to say. So I don't like to be too structured with something so not structured. So that's it.
You don't like to be structured with something, so
A topic like
oh yeah,
sex.
sex is so not structured.
Yeah.
It can't be, or that's like then it looks like a chore. Anyway.
All right, guys.
Bye guys.
See you
that are
next week.
live.